Incubator Africa is a development agency operating in Nigeria. The founder and visionary of the organization, Mrs. Alero Aida Otobo, was a former special advisor to Dr. Obiageli Ezekwesili and member of the Transformation Task Team leaders of the Nigerian government. During her work with the minister, her confrontation with challenges in the education sector inspired her to address the deep-seated systemic issues that perpetuate the cycle of poverty in Nigeria and sub-Saharan Africa. This gave birth to Incubator Africa. Incubator Africa started off with the focus on building capacity for reform within the education sphere, focusing on 3 areas: early childhood education, teacher training and development, and vocational education. The success of the program inspired the creation of Incubator Africa's partnerships and the Young Reformers program in 2011. The program first trained 15 young reformers with a passion for education, and the core objective was to develop and equip these reformers. Those selected were tutored on understanding the Nigerian education system from a global context and studied models such as micro and macro education, the role of government and practitioners in education, advocacy for education reform at the school and organizational level, and what it takes to have the reformer's mindset. Those who successfully emerged from the program have taken on the responsibility of committing to and transforming their respective spheres of influence. Here are some of Incubator Africa's success stories.
It takes a village to really birth anything that is worth birthing. And Incubator Africa played a critical role in Teach for Nigeria's setup. We wouldn't have a story without Incubator Africa. We wouldn't have Teach for Nigeria without Incubator Africa. When we were trying to incubate this idea, when we're thinking about it and trying to burst this idea, Incubator Africa embraced and received us at the education hub, where we had specialists and we had stakeholders and we had a steering committee that were able to help us think through our strategy, writing of the business plan, to connecting us with potential donors, connecting us with people that could guide us and make introductions, and also providing us with an office space to work from. And without Incubator Africa, we probably wouldn't have been able to achieve this much impact as quickly as we did. And so it was really that startup support that we were able to benefit and enjoy from Incubator Africa. And up until now, we still receive that sort of support from Incubator. So it's not that, now that we're growing, they've suddenly just dropped us. They still help with introductions, they still help with, and I think that's the biggest thing. It's the relationships. You want to be in the same room with the right people. You want to be connected to the right stakeholders and key stakeholders. And I think that's one of the things that Incubator Africa has done for us. And in terms of the resources required for us to really continue to build this vision, Incubator Africa has been able to provide that for us. And I'm completely grateful, and I remain grateful to Incubator Africa.
Slum to School is a volunteer-driven organization that works in remote communities and slums, underdeveloped communities. We decided to act and not just complain about these problems. And there's been so much we've done across the educational space, building learning centers, building educational hubs, and bringing several medical support to children who would not have had the opportunity to get those opportunities. The Young Reformers program is a great platform for every young person who is very passionate and craving to see changes in their communities. It gives you an opportunity to get access to a wide range of mentors, a wide network of support. It helps you build the right competencies and the technical capacity to be not just a change agent, but to add value to your society and create the impact that our nation deserves.
I run a non-governmental organization which is called Streets to School Initiative. What we do basically is to support the education programs of out-of-school children, out-of-school young people, support their education programs, so we get to fund them, get sponsors for them, people who are interested in supporting our dreams. And we work in a community where schools are not that affordable. Government-owned schools are not accessible for young reformers and people who are looking out to make an impact. I mean, we all can, make a huge impact in our sphere. Don't feel it until you have a lot of money, it until you have a lot of resources. Just get started. As you get started, you see people who notice your impact, your effort, and they start coming around.
I founded an organization called REAL Foundation, Reading to Enhance Excellence in Learning, and that foundation has birthed 2 community e-learning labs. How I came about working on education development projects was through my program at Incubator Africa. I believe that it doesn't matter where anybody is coming from. Quality education is supposed to be accessible to every child, and that's what we try to do with the learning hubs we set up. There's the passion to see social change in Nigeria. I'm very passionate about this country, and I believe that things can get better. My advice for people for young reformers who are interested in developing social projects to impact the community, is to not give up on your passion and then be resilient. It's not going to be smooth all the way. If there's that innate desire to do something, just keep at it and share your vision with people whom you trust.
We have identified that our mandate is better realized through facilitating and supporting reform entrepreneurs to establish reform organizations with the mandate of executing reform programs. This new direction has adopted the YRP methodology as the basis upon which the new Reform Entrepreneurs Program will be developed. In its new strategy, Incubator Africa's strategic focus is on 4 key areas: building the incubator as a sustainable vehicle to catalyze change, develop the reformer entrepreneur, Incubator Africa transformation model, and building and impacting the community. At Incubator Africa, our focus is to drive significant reform agendas by imparting, developing, and supporting more reform entrepreneurs in the coming years. Would you join us?